Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So yes, I shaved. I lost a bet on the Bengals game. I thought the Bengals would win against Kansas City. That did not go well, so I ended up shaving. Also, if anybody has tips for ingrown hairs, I would absolutely love to know it, because I've had this for like probably a week now. And it's really irritating me, and it's not a pimple. It just won't come out. I've determined it's an ingrown hair, and I just can't get it out. So, as you can see, I'm stressing because I miss my beard. I look like I'm fucking 12. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So, couple of things. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers. Real quick, I want to thank everybody for that. Things are going to be changing maybe a little bit on the channel, mostly because YouTube is really cracking down on people with cursing. So yeah, they're dropping the hammer pretty hard on people who curse. So we might have to curb the cursing a little bit or a lot. I don't know. We'll have to play with the water here and see how that goes. But real quick, I want to say thank you to everybody for that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the topic of today's video, and that is the Sacramento Kings. Mostly because they are a team that needs to make a trade, I think, to really put themselves over the top. And not that this is an over-the-top trade, but they have one guy on their roster that simply does not fit their timeline, and that is Harrison Barnes. If you look at Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, they're about 26, 27 years old. Harrison Barnes is 30. Granted, he's not completely outside the realm of their timeline, but, you know, he's not getting any younger. He's got 1 year left on his deal, and the Sacramento Kings are going to be looking to move him. At least I think anyway. And he's actually having a pretty good year statistically. You know, he's shooting, I think, 47% from the field, something like that. I think 41% from three. I believe it's about 80+% from the free throw line. So he's still a solid player. He's still a very solid option. And one guy that I feel like is going to be on the trade market, being that he turned down a max contract offer from the Trailblazers, is Jerami Grant. Jerami Grant is not only playing like out of his mind this year, but he's also having a pretty good year defensively. And if you look at the Sacramento Kings, their biggest issue is defense. Now, we could say that also about Portland, but I think it's safe to say at this point that Damian Lillard and Jerami Grant are playing out of their minds, and Portland is still not going anywhere. Like, they're not even good enough to be a play-in team, which is why I think Jerami Grant turned down the max offer from the Portland Trailblazers. You know, Jerami Grant and Damian Lillard have been playing out of their minds, and like, it's still not enough to get them in the playoffs. And for whatever reason, I just feel like Jerami Grant does not want to waste his time playing for Portland. I get the vibe that Jerami Grant got traded there. I feel like he maybe doesn't really want to be there. And on top of it, I feel like he realizes that, like, I'm having a career year. Damian Lillard's playing out of his mind, and we're still not good enough to compete with, you know, all the teams in the West. However, Sacramento is. Okay, Sacramento is one of those teams that is capable of competing with the other teams in the West. And it's mostly because of Domantas Sabonis, to be real. Like, him and De'Aaron Fox. Like, Sabonis, there's people out there arguing he should be in the MVP conversation. And not that I agree, but I also don't disagree. Like, he is playing pretty out of his mind this year, if I'm being honest. And I just feel like Jerami Grant being 26 years old fits right in that timeline with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. And Jerami Grant has played the small forward position before, so if I'm the Sacramento Kings, I don't see why I don't offer Harrison Barnes and our 2023 second-round pick via the Indiana Pacers, because it's probably going to be a relatively high second-round pick. Basically a late first for Jerami Grant. If you're the Trailblazers, you get Harrison Barnes, who's still a decent player. You know, like, he's not bad by any means. He's maybe not the defender that Jerami Grant is, and he's not younger, but at the same time, I look at this and I'm like, well, Harrison Barnes is like kind of fits the timeline a little better than Jerami Grant as well. Jerami Grant's young, he's 26, he's a better defender than Harrison Barnes, but he's 30. Damian Lillard's 32, 33 years old. I mean, once we get to 35, like, we might as well really start packing it in on the Trailblazers. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? Damian Lillard could play till he's 40. I don't know. But I just think to myself, if you're Portland, right, and this is really if you know Jerami Grant is not going to come back, he's not going to sign an extension, he doesn't want to be there, like, there was rumors out there that he could get, like, a 5-year, $235 million max, like, he's not Stephen Curry, he's not getting that, and if his agent told him that he's getting that, well, your agent lied to you, and you deserve to get a better agent. But I just think if you're Portland, and you know Jerami Grant's not coming back, you might as well trade him for Harrison Barnes and that second round pick, because their salaries are relatively close, and Harrison Barnes is way more likely to come back than Jerami Grant is. And Jerami Grant can shoot the three. He defends well. Like, playing in Sacramento, I think he would fit. That's just my opinion. He can shoot the three. He's shooting the three very well this year. That's what Sacramento does. That's their thing, is shooting three-pointers. And like I said, if you're Portland, I don't think it's the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? I don't think trading Jerami Grant for Harrison Barnes is the end of the world, especially when you can probably bring Harrison Barnes back for cheaper as well. That's another part of this that I think we're not really covering, is the idea that Jerami Grant's 26. He's going to want his bag. I don't know who it's going to come from, but he's going to want his bag, okay? Harrison Barnes is 30. You could lock him in for another 3 or 4 years and not have to sign him to a max deal. Like, it doesn't have to be $114 million, okay? What they offered Jerami Grant. And who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's the end of the world. Blazers fans are not going to want to do it. I'm telling you right now, Blazers fans are going to see this video and absolutely hate me for it. But it's just the idea, like, if you know Jerami Grant's not coming back, get something for him. And I think Harrison Barnes is one of the better things you could get for him. Not to say that you can't get a haul for Jerami Grant. I'm just saying there's not a whole lot of teams with a whole lot to offer the Portland Trailblazers that's much better than Harrison Barnes. So, I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely an interesting time right now in the NBA. We're approaching the trade deadline here in a week and a day. And I think things are going to get pretty hot. I think we're going to start seeing things steam up a little bit, just a little bit. Shams put out a report today that, like, the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Suns, and a couple other, I think 1 or 2 other teams have been calling about OG Anunoby in Toronto, so it seems like OG Anunoby is very likely to get traded, but I don't know, man. I just think, and the best part about this whole trade, I think, for the Sacramento Kings is, I think this bumps them up a notch. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really need to make a trade to really make them, like, scary, essentially. Like, they're a team that, like, yeah, they might make the first round or the second round, but that's as far as they're gonna go. You add Jerami Grant to that, who's a 20-point per game scorer, who's shooting like 40, I think he's shooting like 44% from three or something, like some crazy astronomical number from three this year. And you get a decent defender, a guy who's also capable of, like, getting to the basket and stuff, like he can space the floor. I think if you're Sacramento, like, I feel like you gotta try that out, especially with the leaps and bounds Jerami Grant has taken offensively this year. I just think if you're Sacramento, you'd be stupid not to at least be calling about Jerami Grant. Because, like, you don't have to play him at the 4. You can play him at the 3. And, I don't know, I like it. I like the idea of it. Obviously, it's not a perfect trade by any means, but like I said, if you're Portland and you're desperate and you want to get something for Jerami Grant, Harrison Barnes ain't the end of the world, man. Just saying, like, he's a solid option. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like, helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.